I am going to call this meeting to order at 3:02. Thank you for that, Shireen. And I'm going to start today's meeting with our land acknowledgement. Make sure I'm not muted, okay. Before we begin, we believe it's important to open our meeting by acknowledging the Indigenous land that we share. Pasadena City College is a learning community within the Indigenous homelands of the people who have been known as the Gabrielino Band of Mission Indians of the Xixi-Huenga Village and Keys Nation. We acknowledge the painful history of genocide and forced removal from this land on which we gather. We honor all Indigenous people past, present, and future, and their continued survival and contributions to our society. We also honor the legacy of the African diaspora and recognize that this country would not exist without the free enslaved labor of Black people. We share these acknowledgements to raise awareness about histories that are too often erased or forgotten, to recognize our place in this history, and to affirm our commitment to social justice, systemic change, and anti-racism. So thank you everyone for being here today. And Professor Walker, do we have public comment?
Yes, we do. Is everyone able to hear me okay? Yes? Okay, perfect. Okay, first we have Geeta. Is Geeta present with us? Not yet? Okay, I'll come back to Geeta. Okay, Mahara Sinclair. Is Mahara present? Okay. I'll come back to Mahara. Let's see. Daniel. I'm sorry, let me skip over Daniel. Dr. Bernardo. Is Dr. Bernardo present?
Hi, I'm here.
Thank you.
Okay.
3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Since February of this year, an idea of a vote of no confidence in Superintendent-President Erica Andrew-Jones has been gaining support since it was initially written and brought on behalf of faculty who have been subjected to Andrew-Jones's unyielding, arbitrary, and unsafe decisions to return to campus on January 24th, while the rest of the higher education in Southern California extended their classes online for another couple of weeks. And the most immediate debacle and failure of leadership did not turn out to be an isolated incident. The failed return to campus push where Andrew-Jones and the admin forced all faculty to resume in-person teaching during the height of the Omicron surge of this ongoing pandemic was only one of the latest examples of what turns out to be a pattern and practice of unilateral decision-making for the PCC faculty and community. Andrew-Jones also forced non-instructional faculty to return to on-campus work in July 2021, when only the briefest of intervals to prepare themselves for the transition, while instructional faculty were allowed to work remotely for the fall semester of 2021. This return has been described by our non-instructional faculty as differential and unfair treatment by the administration under Andrew-Jones. The return January 22, as well as the return July 2021, were labeled as non-negotiable by this administration, and as a success. President Andrew-Jones actually wrote an indefensibly self-congratulatory article about it, describing it this way. And yet we all keep getting emails advertising Andrew-Jones's office hours, ridiculously offering cookies or candy to incentivize people to show up to talk to them. If people really wanted to talk to you, you wouldn't have to offer cookies and a jar of candy to get them to approach you. And the behavior that Andrew-Jones displays when people say they actually went to office hours has been reported as dismissive and patronizing, completely lacking in empathy. Although the upcoming vote of no confidence will not of itself have the power to remove Andrew Jonas as head of PCC is overwhelming support from the divisions, departments, and entities polled so far. English supports it, KHA supports it, advanced supports it, non-credit supports it, social sciences supports it, adjunct faculty support it, natural sciences supports it. All of the academic senators from these departments should be voting in favor of the resolution of no confidence. If they do not, you should let them know how you feel about their decision to ignore the majority of their department's feelings on this. If it passes, then the PCC Board of Trustees is going to have some decisions to make. It took 3 votes of no confidence in order for them to finally ask Mark Rocha to leave. Are they going to do the same here, or will they take the statement of no confidence as an imperative to act? Perhaps we should talk to them about that either way. So what do we get out of this? We get to express our dissatisfaction with the way we have been ignored time after time, and decision after decision by this administration, who is insistent on punishing faculty who remain remote for 2 weeks after January 24th, while patting themselves on the back and spending a lot of taxpayer money doing a horrible job with testing, contact tracing, sticking to public health policies that would have made it safer for those who came back to campus in July 2021, as well as during the Omicron surge. So what do people who do not support this get out of it? When they know their divisions support it overwhelmingly, that they know that faculty have been ignored and treated like children instead of the collegial fashion that is set in the laws of the state of California, that faculty should have a shared role in college governance. If there are faculty and administration who do not support it, what are they getting out of it? How about we ask them? Let's see what they say. Maybe it's cookies with raisins in them. Maybe that's what they get. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bernardo. Thank you. Okay, next we have Geeta. I believe I saw her come in.
Yes. Years ago, my boss was asked to write a mission statement for the Foothill campus. The task was delegated to me. You won't like it, I said. Of course I will, I was told. Okay, the administration helps the faculty so that faculty can help the students. You're right, I was told. I don't like it. There are 3 sentiments I don't ever want to hear again. Number 1, your call is very important to us. Number 2, you are in our thoughts and prayers. Often said to parents by Congress who had children killed in a school shooting. Those who were taking money from the gun lobby. And number 3, thank you for all you do for our students. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Next we have 3 anonymous comments that I will read. Okay. This is faculty member number 1. In insisting that all faculty return to campus at a time when the Omicron variant was raging, President Andrew Jonas displayed a stubborn and frankly foolish disregard for common sense and decency. Many faculty had compromised immune systems or cared for children or elders who might be susceptible to the pandemic. Her failure to even meet with the academic senate before taking her decision, then to ignore the many pleas by intended teachers, then to administer a hopelessly failed program of testing, then to blockheadedly threaten faculty with firing without reason or compassion. These are not the signs of inspired leadership. A message should be sent. Okay, that's faculty number 1. Faculty member number 2. I have spoken to some, not all faculty regarding vote of no confidence. I do not agree with the vote, and there are some that have no comments and opinions one way or the other. Faculty member number 3, anonymously. For the most part, we are fine with the way we return to campus in the fall. Although we had already been back the year before, we felt that the rules that PCC made matched our needs. We do not want a vote of no confidence. So those are the three anonymous. And we have one more by Mahara that I will read. Unless she's here, I don't see her. Let's see here. The vote of no confidence document clearly outlines with ample supporting evidence that faculty, both instructional and non-instructional, are rightly defending our shared governance rights, which have been thwarted and disregarded under the current leadership. We must firmly assert our right for a safe work environment. We must demand that our negotiated agreements are upheld and not violated by an authoritarian declaration, quote, non-negotiable, unquote. We must send a message that steamrolling the faculty is not acceptable. And I believe that's it. Please indicate if you sent me something closer to 3 that I missed. Shannon.
Yes.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.
I thank you. I couldn't see you. Go for it.
I've been an adjunct non-credit ESL instructor at PCC since 2009. If you'd asked me before this year whether I felt like my voice matters here, whether PCC upholds democratic principles through shared governance between leadership and faculty, I would have stared at you blankly. I just didn't have those expectations. I was used to the fear-based way that things were, here at PCC, at workplaces in general, and in our society at large. The powerful make the rules, and the powerless just have to accept it and keep quiet, lest they get punished and made examples of. But since I started here in 2009, society has been changing a lot. The ideals of inclusivity and equity have gained momentum and are changing the way that we think and behave and what we will tolerate. Just as we are in the process of rebuilding our society and world on a foundation that doesn't just pay lip service to democracy, but actually values all voices, that same rebuilding process needs to take place here in the microcosm of PCC. It's no longer okay for a PCC president to simply dictate orders to stakeholders like students, staff, and faculty, especially in important matters that affect our health and peace of mind, our ability to be effective as we carry out our individual purposes, whether learning, teaching, or working. Especially as Title V California Ed Code stipulates that leadership of a college shall, at a minimum, consult collegially with the Academic Senate on academic and professional matters, meaning that the president must either A, follow the recommendations of you, the Academic Senate, or B, negotiate with you, the Academic Senate, and come to an agreement. Consult collegially does not mean the president can just send an email about what she's already decided, especially when people's lives are at stake. This is what she did, though, when she mandated the return of faculty and students to campus on January 24th during Omicron, and what she had done previously in July of 2021 when she mandated non-instructional faculty return to campus during Delta. The Academic Senate will today consider a vote of no confidence for the 4th time. And when it comes to a vote, I sincerely hope that each senator will carry out your duty and vote the way the majority of faculty in your department wants you to vote. The fear-based reality is yesterday. Today, it's time to empower ourselves to live our stated values of inclusivity and equity. That means that we need to stand up for shared governance and send a strong message to President Andriojonas that we object to being left out of the decision-making process on matters that affect our health and ability to be effective educators. We need to affirm a vote of no confidence, otherwise she'll not get the message and she will not change, and we'll only have ourselves to blame for not speaking up and demanding our rightful place at the decision-making table, for letting our actions be guided by yesterday's fear instead of today's empowerment. Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon. Is there anyone else I missed? Okay, not seeing any. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Lopez.
Thank you, Professor Walker. And now we will approve the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Talene, I see your hand. Is that a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Awesome. Is that a second, Margaret?
Yes. Second.
Awesome. Okay, are there any questions, comments, or concerns about the minutes? If not, we can approve this by unanimous consent. Seeing none, the minutes are approved by unanimous consent. Now we'll go on to our constituency reports. And we'll start with PCCFA, and I believe Mark is here.
Yes.
There you go.
Here. Good afternoon. 3 quick updates. First update is that nominations for the upcoming FA elections closes at 4 o'clock today. So if you want to get your name in there, you have, let's see, 42 minutes. Okay. And the voting will actually begin on 4/21 and will end on 4/29. So you will be getting your ballots if you're a member in your email. It will all take place over email. We have a reps council meeting tomorrow at noon. So make sure your division reps are there. And let's see, the last thing, I believe that's it. Yes, that's it. That is my update. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, now we have an update from the adjunct faculty. Dr. Bernardo?
Hi, yes, the Adjunct Faculty Issues Committee want to reaffirm our support for the resolution of no confidence. And we also want to, we're trying to work with, actually, you know what? I shouldn't announce that just yet. So I will just leave it there for today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a rep? I saw Audrey for Classified Senate.
I'm here.
Awesome, you have the floor.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. And the Classified Senate is preparing for our 22-23 election right now. We're trying to engage as many classified professionals as possible and encourage participation. Our goal is to make sure we have a full squad for this upcoming year and to ensure that the classified voice remains strong and heard. In addition, we are and have been asking and reminding classified to complete the campus climate survey. We're eager to receive the results and so that we can address any areas of concern or any areas that can be improved upon. And finally, we're pleased to report that the Senate has recently approved AP 6530 regarding district vehicles. Thank you.
Thank you, Audrey. Now, Associated Students. Eugen, I think you're here.
Hello.
Hello.
So I wanted to start off with voting for the next executive board for Associated Students start next week on April 20th, and they can find all the information on Lancer Life. Our next event, a few events that are happening this week is the Health and Wellness Fair. It's from today to tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Quad. And then we also have Drag Bingo on April 13th, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. at the Creveling Lounge. And then we have a women's hygiene product drive from Tuesday, April 12th, which is tomorrow, to Friday, April 29th. And people can just donate some women hygiene products to the OSL, Freeman Center, Learning Assistance Center, Student Health Services Center, and the Transfer Center. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I forgot to ask. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none. Do we have someone from Management Association? I think
Yes,
I saw
I'm here.
Dean Miller.
This is Dion.
Thank you, Dean Miller. Go ahead.
Thank you for having me this afternoon. So some of the things that the Management Association is working on or still doing. So at our last meeting, Bob continues to come and gives us an update on all things either COVID or boosters, hiring, etc. We had a good conversation about masking and when the masking would end and testing and all of that stuff. The $500 stipend and all of those, and he fielded questions. And then Jason Robinson met with us also to talk about the management retreat, which will be June the 10th. And Caroline Caro is coming in from Leadership Pasadena, and she is speaking to us on the Great Realignment and Mindfulness. And so we're looking forward to that. We're also talking about the MA Association and a committee restructuring on how managers can request funding for conferences and travel. So we're working with Jason on that also. And then we're just, trying to get managers to be on hiring committees. We're talking about managers possibly being, it becoming mandatory that all managers are EEO trained so that they're available and able to sit on committees and not all of the same people sitting on the same committees all of the time. So a shared workout of that work. We're also preparing for classified days, which is May the 16th through the 20th. And so we have some subcommittees that are looking at different opportunities for all of the managers to participate upon and in classified week. We're also planning some social activities for the managers, and that would be like a family Dodger game activity where managers can take their families and we all go to a Dodger game together. Some of the other things that were already said. So just getting managers to order their regalia for commencement. Also, everybody in the Management Association taking the campus climate survey. And then the annual planning rubric that's coming up for the budget workshop. And then we also talked about, once again, the leadership meeting and our core commitments. And Jason gave us a brief update on that and how we would be moving forward with that. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Miller. Now we'll go on to, I'm sorry, were there any questions? Okay, so now we will go on to our Senate officers report, starting with me. I'm going to forego my report for the sake of time, and let's move on to Vice President's report.
Okay, so I hope that everyone has seen the emails that have gone out about the dean hirings. So we have 4 dean hirings that are going to be occurring, and we will need to approve who's on those hiring committees the next meeting. So that will be a priority to us. And I just got another email right now for another hiring committee. So we have some more coming. This one's for a intermediate clerk for non-credit. So that will be going out this afternoon. So please make sure that you sign up if you're interested. And just remember that with the dean hirings, at least one must be in the area of the hire, and that then you must be EEO trained, and that the hiring interviews will be beyond the semester end. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there a secretary's report? Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Bernardo, you had a question?
Yes, so I was reminded, it's sort of a question statement, that adjunct faculty still cannot participate on hiring committees. Is that correct? I believe we asked for input or feedback on that like a few months ago from the departments who just said, we don't like it. So we wanted to know why, and nobody's gotten back to us on that. So I would appreciate that.
Okay. Is there a secretary? Thank you. Is there a secretary's report?
No report for today. Thank you.
Okay, treasurer's report.
Thank you. I would just quickly like to read the balances of our accounts into the record. So the only change is an increase in 95 cents to 22,515.77 cents in our savings account. Our checking account is stable at 1,095.83 cents for an overall balance of 23,611.60. Thank you.
What will we do with that 95 cent? Okay, we're going to move on to our information items, and we are starting with Dr. Olivo. You have the floor, Dr. Olivo.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. Let's see.
here is our April update. I do want to make sure all of you are aware it's Armenian Heritage Month, and we have great events to celebrate together. And I will make sure to send a copy of this PowerPoint to Judy and to the Senate exec officers so that you all can have this and hopefully share it with your students in your classes, as well as all of the colleagues that you represent at the college. So these include all of the flyers for every event, and I want to give a special shout out to Talin Seropian. Thank you so much for your leadership and making sure that our college has all of these amazing events in place so that we can learn together and celebrate Armenian heritage and culture. Last week, I also want to say thank you to everyone who helped us put on International Week at PCC. I was able to participate in one day and it was awesome. And there were faculty there leading students in sharing their talents, and that was amazing. And then please, everyone, take a look at our PCC website and check out Festival Latinx, if you say it in Spanish, or Festival Latinx, if you don't. And there is a video where soccer players from the team, the Chivas team, Leyendas de Guadalajara, they say, you know, welcome in Spanish from the team. And they say, Pasadena City College, we look forward to seeing all of you on Saturday, April 23rd. And I just wanted to let you know that Desiree Zuniga, counseling faculty member, has sent out a message if you want to participate in a resource fair. Here's the list of participants, and then here is also a staff and student volunteer form. So imagine you'll be able to volunteer. If you tell your students, they can volunteer to be ticket takers, crowd directors, and then they'll be able to meet these 15 members of the Chivas national soccer team. It's going to be really exciting. We have a company that's helped us secure marketing, and we'll have around 4,000 people here from the community enjoying this event. And then just a reminder, this is the time of year where students start to receive their acceptance letters and information from universities. Sometimes those are also letters of denial of admission. So please make sure you connect students to the transfer center so we can help them through processes like appealing those denieds. And we have a lot of success in getting students either in to a second review so they can get accepted. So please just connect our students. And this is just one example. We have students who do peer advising hours every single day. This is just one example of that, located on our transfer center website. Don't forget, we have our Latinx and Black graduations coming up. Today is the last day for students to let us know if they're going to graduate. And we also have our graduation for students with children. This will be on Saturday, April 30th, 3 to 5. And we sent out an email invitation to all of our students who have children. We got the list out of our computer system, and we're so excited to host our first ever student parent graduation. We also have our Asian Pacific Islander Desi American graduation and Lavender graduation. And our LGBTQIA students, we're so excited to make sure we have this back in person. I did want to make sure you all are aware we still have emergency aid available for students through our Lancer Care Center. And I'm proud to also share we're going to be implementing this new service called Protocol. And this results from you faculty members who reach out to me because after hours, after 5 or 7 p.m., you have students who let you know that they are having, suicidal thoughts and they need help. And so we have this after hours service where every single student will have access to a therapist on demand. So this will be something we're going to be putting in place in the next couple of months. We're also going to have electronic medical record system in place so that we can get our students access to their prescription meds and things that they need in a quicker manner. And then just one last, plug here, our Lancer Pantry has moved from the Campus Center building to our building, room 125. I just want to make sure you're all aware of that and routing students to the right location. And with that being said, I do thank you all for providing names to serve on hiring committees. During the summer, I will be hiring a Lancer Care Director, Lancer Care Advisor, and a Lancer Pantry Coordinator. So if you're interested in serving on any of those during the summer, please work through your process in the Senate to put your name forward for those positions that we'll be hiring this summer. And this is from funding that we receive from the state. So that's all for me. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Olivo. Next week, and if you could send that to Judy, we can send out that presentation to the senators. Thank you. Okay, and now we have an instructional update from Dr. Laura Ramirez. You have the floor, Dr. Ramirez.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I'll be brief. Here we go. So I wanted to share some good news. Our honors program students participated in the UC Irvine Community College Honors Research Conference. We had 20 participants, 3 awardees in 2 different areas. And our honors program is led by Dr. Brian Kennedy. He's done a great job with the support of Talene Seropian and Marina Gonzalez to help students not only progress in the honors program and participate in the research conference, but also we had 175 students that were certified for UCLA TAP. So that's really exciting. One of our own, Jasmine Lopez, who serves as our Associate Student Body Vice President of Equity, was awarded the Board of Governors Student Leadership Award. And so, yes, that was great. She was able to participate in the actual meeting where they awarded her that honor. A few CTE updates. We are now a Honda Professional Automotive Career Training Program, which means students that complete our auto tech program under the PAC training have preferential hiring opportunities as well as internship opportunities with not only Honda, but Acura. And this summer, we'll be launching some new programs in health sciences, the EKG technician program, medical scribe, and patient intake specialist. So that's exciting. We're growing our health sciences opportunities. Also some PCC events coming. So we have participated in the City of STEM. We had students participate, faculty, and represent PCC very well in the city of Downey. On April 23rd, you've heard about our Festival Latinx, but that same day we have our STEM Savvy outreach for young middle school ladies that will be participating in some STEM projects from 9 to 12 p.m. And that's all I have. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Ramirez. Are there any questions? I see a hand. Go ahead, Dr. Francoso.
Hi, thank you for saying, thank you for the update, Dr. Ramirez. Just a quick update on Jasmine, the student that won the Board of Governors. She was the Vice President of Student Equity for AS last year. This year, she's always been a Puentista, but this year she's always a core scholar as well. This year, she's a community engagement leader for the core program. So yeah, we're really proud and excited for Jazz to be a recipient of that award. There's only 3 students throughout the whole state that won that.
Jasmine is amazing. I want to concur. She's amazing. That's all I can't say enough. Okay, Jose.
Can Dr. Ramirez send this that PowerPoint just like Dr. Olivo will?
Sure, I'll do that.
If you can send it to Judy, she can send it out to the senators.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, are there any other questions for Dr. Ramirez? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to old business. And AP 4220, Sharon, I believe you are here and unmiked. You have the floor.
Thank you. I am trying to share the summary of changes. Are you seeing it on the screen? Yes. All right, since the last time I was here, Sheila Rose did take AP 4220 to the Student Success Standing Committee to take a look at the language that was listed there on the AP And then some of the phrases and words were changed to become more student friendly. So those were the main changes that were made, in addition to the one that Colleen had asked about, and that was the reference of transcripts being held related to students who might have an outstanding financial obligation. And that was in opposition to a recent Assembly Bill 1313. So I did remove and change that as well. So I don't know if there's any questions about any of the other changes that were made.
Can you stop sharing for just a moment?
Sure. Mhm.
Okay, are there any questions for Sharon? Comments? Okay, so this is a third read, and that means I would like to entertain a motion. Yes, Sheila.
I'd like to move to approve.
Okay, and Lyman, is that a hand or a question?
That's a second.
Second, thank you so much. Okay, if there are no objections, we can approve this by unanimous consent. Are there any objections to approving AP 4220? Is that an objection, Dr. Bernardo? Okay, then we will go by roll call vote. Are you ready, Professor Walker? Just a moment while she's ready. There you go.
Yes, I'm ready. Okay. Okay, Dr. Jaramillo. Veronica?
Yes,
Oh,
it is,
okay.
yes.
Okay, I got you. Sheila Rose,
Yes.
Armia Walker, yes. Dr. Bernardo,
No.
Tracy Bodis,
No.
okay. Bevel Constantine,
Yes.
Gita Indoor, Gita Indoor? Is that a yes? Okay, got you. Milan Air, sorry. Milan Ayers. Milan Ayers, sorry.
Yes.
Milan, thank you. Douglas Cook,
Yes.
thank you. Blanca Hernandez,
Yes.
thank you. Talene Seropian,
Yes.
thank you. Lori, is Lori here? Lori here?
Yes. And
Yes.
yes.
Okay. Carmen Stevens, sorry.
Yes.
Tim Melnerick,
Yes.
Vanitha Swaminathan,
Yes.
Lindsay Ruiz,
Yes.
Blanca Rodriguez,
Yes.
Terrence Solberg,
Yes.
Ken Simon,
Yes.
Margaret Bowles,
Yes.
Jose Constanon,
Yes.
Lyman Chafee,
Yes.
Susan Bauer,
Yes.
Valerie Foster,
Yes.
Michael Vendrasco,
Yes.
Joshua Fleming,
Yes.
Anthony Francoso,
Yes.
Anna Kritzka, sorry, Anna,
Yes. Yes.
thank you. Sylvia Ringon,
Yes.
did I miss anyone?
Yep.
Yeah, you didn't call my name. Diane Jerome?
Oh, Guyan, thank you, Guyan. How would you like to vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, you missed me, Brian Wilbur.
Brian, how could I miss you?
I'm hiding behind Michael.
You know, okay, Brian, how would you like to vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Who?
Dory, yes. Dory Natal.
Hold on 1 second, okay? Okay, how would you like to vote?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, the votes, the yeses have it, 30 yeses and 2 nos.
Okay, thank you. So that means AP 4220 has passed. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Sheila. Now we'll move on to item number 2, which is AP-BP accreditation, and that is Crystal Cole-Ross. This is our second read.
Thank you, Dr. Lopez. Am I okay to share my screen today?
You are.
Okay, I will start with the BP. If I can remember which one. Let's see something. Okay, great. Then I'm going to ask the inevitable question. Can y'all see my screen? Just so I can get that out of the way. Great. So we are not making the accreditation standing committee is not making any recommended changes to the BP. We feel that it is fine as it is. So there's nothing really to look at here, but you certainly can read it, but we are not recommending anything on this one. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to take them on the BP before I move on to the AP.
Any questions? I don't see any. You can move on to the AP.
Thank you, Dr. Lopez. Let me pop up the AP. Great. Okay. This is where we are making the bulk of our recommendations, and they're down here, mainly under sections 5 and 6, which is regarding the ICER, the Institutional Self-Evaluation Report, the preparation and review. And what our attempt at the Accreditation Standing Committee to do was just to have the administrative procedure actually reflect the process that we went through in this last cycle. We had to make some changes, you always do on the fly, but we want to make sure that our procedures, and it really worked well, that our procedures represent the actual process. And the other thing I want to say is, I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but we did our site review in spring of 2021 and came away with the first time, and this is my third cycle here, with absolutely no recommendations for compliance, an absolutely clean review. And it really has a lot to do with the work in this body and how well we all collaborated to get this ICER done and to have a very successful site visit. So we want to also make sure that that gets reflected in our administrative procedures part of the process, because it works so well. So are there any questions regarding the administrative procedure? Be happy to field them.
Can you stop sharing for just a moment?
I could do that.
Thank you. Any questions for Crystal regarding this AP? Okay, seeing none, I'm willing to entertain a motion for this AP. Do I have a motion? I saw Susan Bauer's hand. Is that a motion to approve? Okay, do I have I see a second from Margaret. Thank you so much. Sorry, Ken, I keep missing you. I'll catch you on the next round. Okay, is there any okay. There's a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion? Okay. So if there are no objections, we can approve this by unanimous consent. Are there any objections to approving this by unanimous consent? Seeing none, this is, whoa, let me stop. Because I'm sorry, Susan, we didn't say whether it's the AP or the BP or both. I'm so sorry, that's my fault. Which is the motion?
Both of them.
Okay, and Margaret, are you seconding for both?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I just want to be clear. Okay, if there are no objections, we can approve the AP and the BP by unanimous consent. Not seeing any objections. Both of these items are approved. Thank you, Crystal. We appreciate you coming through. Okay, next we have AP and BP 4250 academic standing, and Sheila Rose, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. So this is a second read, and this is the board policy that I'm sharing here. And the major change that we are trying to effect with this revision of the board policy is changing the language. So previously, this was the board policy on probation, on academic probation. And we are trying to remove this language that is associated with the criminal justice system from our academic policies. And so we had quite a rich discussion about what would replace the language of probation. And we finally decided on warning, academic warning, and progress warning as appropriately messaging to students that they should be paying attention to their GPAs and their progress, but not using this kind of punitive language. And the other thing that we did with this BP revision is remove the dismissal and readmission, which have been moved into their own freestanding board policy. So at this point, if there are any questions about the board policy.
Oh, there is a question. Anna?
It was just language that changed, is that correct? In this last round of changes?
Yes, yes. So really it was about this. We had considered using the language of academic advisement, but we were concerned, one, what we call counselors here in California are often called advisors in other states. So we thought that language could be quite confusing, and also not necessarily messaging to students that there was something that they really needed to pay attention to as far as their GPA and units.
Right, so urgency without punitive nonsense.
Exactly. We were
Sounds
trying to
good.
strike that balance.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding this BP? Okay, seeing none. Sheila, you have the floor for the AP.
Great, thank you so much. Really, it is the same discussion. So we wanted to have academic warning and progress warning be very clear to students. So we spelled out more accurately what constituted each of these types of warning. And we also removed the language about disqualification and dismissal. And also we changed the language of probation for unsatisfactory citizenship to disciplinary warning. And a lot of this language was removed because we have a separate AP that is standards of student conduct that covers much of it. And that has been recently revised, so we didn't need to cover that here. So again, any questions about the AP? You can see we do keep the language here of probation kind of small and in parentheses, and that's for searchability for students who are used to that language and might be looking for it on the website using that language.
Okay, any questions regarding the AP? I know you already asked, I just want to double check. Okay, then I want to entertain a motion for this AP and the BP. Do I have a motion? Jose, I see your hand. Is there a second? Was that a question or was that a motion?
Motion.
Thank you. To approve AP and BP. Awesome. Okay, I see Dr. Francoso, I saw your hand first. Is that a second?
Yes, that is a second.
Okay. So is there any discussion about this? If not, we can approve it by unanimous consent. Any objections to approving this by unanimous consent, just to be safe? Okay, Seeing none, this AP and BP are approved. Thank you so much, Sheila, for bringing this to us. I see your hand up. Go ahead.
I just wanted to make sure to thank our student member of our Student Success Committee Policy Review Subcommittee, Jillian Rousseau from the Associated Students, who puts in a lot of time and energy into helping these policies get revised and bringing back that feedback. So just a big shout out to Jillian.
Yay, thank you, Jillian. Awesome. Okay, now we have, I don't know if I saw Darlene. Darlene, are you here? Darlene Inda. Okay, I do not see Darlene Inda here. So can I have a motion to table this item? And that the item is AP 6530. Motion to table. Dr. Bernardo, I see your hand. Is that a motion to table? Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, I saw your hand. Thank you, Veronica. Second by Veronica Jaramillo. Okay, if there are no objections, Dr. Stevens, I see your hand up.
I just have a quick question. Is Darlene the next presenter, or is it one more ahead of Darlene? Laura, I believe.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I skipped that. So that is my bad. We have actually, well, we have a motion on the floor. Let's continue, since the motion is already on the floor, let's continue the motion to table, and then we'll go back to AP 4041. Okay, if there are no objections, we can approve tabling AP 6530 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Okay, seeing none, we'll table this item. And we will go to item number 4, AP 4041. And from my understanding, Dr. Ramirez had to step away, and Crystal Koros will be presenting. Thank you, Crystal.
Again, Dr. Lopez, thanks for having me. Always good to be here. I'm hoping you can see my screen because we're in this world. So this is AP 4041 about learning support services. This used to be a part of AP 4040. We had library and learning support services as one AP. We decided that the best thing to do was to separate them out and talk about them separately. So this is the AP for 4041. Very simple, very straightforward. It just talks about what we will provide in learning support services for students. Also, I think it's notable to mention it used to be called teaching support, but it wasn't really, we weren't really supporting teaching, we were really supporting learning. So we kind of changed the title of it as well. Do I have any questions I can field? I'll do my best.
Okay, can you stop sharing for just a moment?
I certainly can. Again,
thank you.
Sorry about that.
Okay, Professor Constantine, go ahead.
Yes, you know, I did have a question about the language in terms of being equity-minded and culturally responsive. I think we've been using these terms at PCC quite loosely, and we never really see any type of action behind it. So is it that we will be targeting students who actually need additional tutoring? Will we be looking at GPA or any type of grades throughout the semester? How will we be focusing on students who actually need additional assistance?
I don't think this AP is intended to focus on students as much as to say that those services that we provide will be looking at them to make sure they are equity-minded and culturally responsive in the effort to understand that students learn differently.
Sorry, I was muted. Are there any other questions? Okay, yes, Ken.
All right, just a minor thing I wanted to point out in the first paragraph. I'd like to suggest that there be a small edit where it says meet the needs of our student population to our student population.
I believe that I already corrected that in this version because Professor Bauer pointed it out to me last time. So in the version that will get posted, I corrected it.
Okay.
But thank you, because I like to have my typos pointed out. It's always good for me. Keeps me honest.
Thank you. And Ken, I just want to point out that I saw you. I called you. Okay, are there any other questions for Crystal regarding this AP? Okay, then I am ready to entertain a motion. Is there a motion for this AP? Okay, I see Margaret, I saw your hand first. Is that a motion to approve?
That's a motion to approve.
Thank you. And Sheila, that's a second? Sheila Rose, seconds. Thank you so much. Okay, is there any further discussion on this AP? Okay, seeing none, if there are no objections, we can approve this by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, this item is approved by unanimous consent. So again, thank you, Crystal, for coming in clutch and making sure that we got this AP through. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lopez.
No problem. Okay, now our next item is the resolution for the vote of no confidence. This is our fourth read, and this will be presented by Dr. Bernardo. You have the floor.
Hi, thank you. May I share screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is an updated version of the last resolution of no confidence, taking into account the edits by and including language from the Safe Learning Environment Committee, and then as approved by the Adjunct Faculty Issues Committee. And then we also had an inclusion of a paragraph from non-instructional, particularly counseling and library, and that is located here. And so this would be this paragraph here. I'll just read it. Whereas college leadership led by Superintendent President Erica Entry-Jonas repeatedly demonstrated unequal treatment of non-instructional faculty from their instructional counterparts, resulting in an unsafe learning environment for students and employees in instances such as failing to provide promised training and clear, consistent guidelines for screening campus visitors for COVID vaccination or negative test results, mandating a return to campus in July of 2021 during the spike of the Delta variant, ending remote work with as few as 6 days or 2 working days notice, unlike other employee classifications who were provided 30 or more days to prepare for their return, and treating non-instructional and instructional faculty differently with respect to determining COVID pay eligibility. So this is not only calling to attention and holding Dr. Entry-Jonas accountable for the policies that led to the failed return to campus of January 24th, but this also started this return to campus push. It seems like it's unilateral, as it does not seem that it was embraced by the non-instructional faculty of July of 2021, when non-instructional faculty were ordered to return to campus on very short notice. And from what they have been telling me, it's Dr. Entry-Jonas and the administration failed to provide enough basically health conscious policies to screen visitors and to provide for testing and vaccination status tracking of the people who would be on campus, thereby putting the non-instructional faculty and everyone else who had to return to campus as per this push in July 2021. And this is endangering everyone. So that paragraph was added and authorized by library and counseling faculty. And just the number 5, it's I put in the links that they wanted to include for their to support their paragraph. And that would be it, I believe, unless someone else wants to explain the change, or was that okay? I think, yeah, I'll stop sharing. Everybody has it.
I do want you to keep in mind, everyone, Dr. Bernardo, everyone else, that this is a 5-minute agenda item with 2 extensions. So we haven't reached the 5-minute yet, but we only have 2 extensions on that. Okay, so I'm ready to, are there any questions for Dr. Bernardo? Okay, then I'm ready to entertain a motion on this item. Do I have a motion? Ken Simon, that's your motion, and your motion to approve. Is that a motion to approve? Or to accept this resolution?
It is a motion to accept the resolution.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, Tracy, I see your hand. Okay, so now, is there discussion? Okay, I see hands. I saw Valerie Foster's first. Dr. Foster?
Yeah, hi. I've been listening very carefully to the public comments and the statement that Dr. Bernardo just read about non-instructional faculty, and I'm reading the language, and I see the words and hear the words negotiate and mutually agree upon. And these words have really specific meaning that indicate whose purview items fall under, right? So faculty union is in charge of negotiating working conditions, which many of the things that Dr. Bernardo just listed regarding the non-instructional return to campus seem like major violations of working conditions. I'd be shocked if they don't already have grievances against administration. And also just the language about returning to campus, when we return to campus and when and under what circumstances seems like negotiable items to me. Whereas the language that we're consulting collegially means that Senate has a seat at the table and discusses these things. So I just want some clarification on that, because I think that these things are nuanced for a lot of faculty. I certainly didn't fully understand them until I was Academic Senate President. So I want to know, was the Academic Senate Executive Committee invited to the table to discuss these items either by the administration or even by the faculty union, right? And if not, why do they think that they weren't invited? Dr. Lopez, do you think you can answer those questions for me?
I can. We were not invited to the table. However, I was told because that it was a working condition issue, that it would be problematic for the administration with the union. They could file suit if we, as the Academic Senate, was involved in something, negotiations that did not fall within the 10+1. And it was a definite working condition issue.
And then just to follow up, so I don't know if Mark is still in the room or not, but if we do approve this document and it states that, you know, the administration should have consulted collegially with the Senate, it seems that that's a false statement. It also seems that the directive is that in a future case of the surge that we would be contacted, that you would be invited to the table, but it sounds like you won't be. So it doesn't make any sense to me that we have that statement in there when we can't act on it. So I'm wondering if we can hear from the union. Is there a possibility in the future that if we do approve this, that the Senate will be invited to the table to discuss the return to campus and the conditions surrounding that?
Okay, Mark, I see that you're still in the room. Are you able to answer that?
Yes, I am. Yes, of course. We would consult with the faculty senate. And when this was going on, I did contact Gina and we talked about what was going on. But the district at the time was not negotiating with anybody about any of this. They felt that it was non-negotiable because of the non-instructional contract requirements, which are that they're 11-month employees. At the time, I believe the counselors were allowed an extra 2 weeks because they had scheduled appointments beyond that return date.
Okay, I want to be clear. Mark did email me. When I said they, I was talking about the district. So that is true. Thank you, Mark.
Sure.
Okay, next is Brian Wilbur.
Can I share my screen?
First, before you do that, we are out of time. I need someone to motion for extension. Brian, I see your hand. Is there a second? Jose, I see Jose Castanon. I see you as a second. If there are no objections, we can approve an additional 5 minutes by unanimous consent. I see a lot of hands, so tell me if you don't want that. Okay. Okay. So we have an additional 5 minutes by unanimous consent. Brian, go ahead.
Thanks for the screen share. I have some data that I'd like to share. I was in the process of making these points a couple of weeks ago and I ran out of time. So I'd like to sort of finish my thoughts from a couple of weeks ago. Hopefully you guys can see this all right. I would proffer that returning on the 24th as we did was appropriate for 2 reasons, because it best serves students to be in-person education, and it also was safe to do so. And the evidence supports all of this. This is why I wanted to make sure I could share the screen so you guys could see where all this is coming from. As this is being recorded and made available on the internet, you guys can go back and check my references if you'd like. A couple quick papers that I would like to cite. 2 I did last time and another that I didn't. This is a study from Columbia, not the university, but the nation, where they have exit exams. And what they found for exit exams for students that are in bachelor's degrees is that those that did their bachelor's degree remotely did not perform as well across the board. In nearly all test score measures, math, reading, writing, and English, students performed more poorly in distance education. So in-person education is better. Again, I posted this one last time. I like to reiterate. Attending lectures via live streaming lowers achievement for low ability students and increases achievement for high ability ones. And maybe the most damning aspect to distance education, this is from the Journal of Higher Education, published in 2014. They looked at junior colleges here in the good old US of A, and what they found was all types of students in the body suffered decrements in performance in online courses. Those with the strongest declines were males, younger students, Black students, and students with lower grade point averages. So in terms of best serving student interests, being in person best serves student interests. And coming back to campus, the data supports that being here was the best for students. So why is there this push for distance education? I would like to cite 2 quick papers. One of them is a study from the Georgetown Center on Education in the Workforce, and another is from a paper by a guy by the name of Cameron Sublett. The issue at hand is that representation across the board is called for. And the easiest way to get representation across the board right off the bat is to offer remote education. But what they found is that the number of Black and Latinx students enrolling in higher education has increased since the 1990s, but these learners are concentrated in crowded open source institutions. By contrast, white students are concentrated in selective, highly resourced and highly performing institutions. And those are the ones that are doing in-person education, not remote education. So why is it that there's this push towards distance education, remote education instead of in person? Well, everybody likes it. Politicians and school leaders like it because it pushes our numbers up. It makes it look like we are helping out across the board. It increases access, but it doesn't increase access in an equitable manner.
Thank you, Brian. Brian, I'm sorry, you've reached your time to share.
Okay, if I have time, I will finish my second thought later.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you can come back after all the hands have been called on.
Thank you.
No problem. So Sheila Rose.
Thank you so much. While I have concerns about the manner in which the return to campus was handled, I do not support the vote of no confidence for several reasons. Are you muted, Gina? Sorry, I think we are echoing. Okay. The return to campus was negotiated by the Faculty Association, who signed a memorandum of understanding on December 30th, 2021, which gave the administration the right to choose the date of return. Because this was a negotiated item, it is by definition a working condition and not the purview of the Senate. If a vote of no confidence were to be taken, it should be taken by the FA, not the Senate. Despite the references to shared governance and the 10+1 academic and professional matters on the resolution, the issues listed are working conditions. Second, a vote of no confidence is a destabilizing act that indicates to the community at large that our college is in disagreement and disarray. This is demonstrated by the fact that only our faculty senate are entertaining this vote. They are not joined by the associated students, by the classified senate, or the faculty association, as they have been in past similar votes. Currently, our student headcount is down by approximately 12,000 students. We had approximately 29,000 students prior to the pandemic. We currently have just over 17,000 students enrolled. Once our classes return to normal closing numbers in summer, these low enrollment numbers will result in faculty losing classes, and this will disproportionately impact adjunct faculty. At a time when we must be increasing outreach efforts to bring our students back to campus, I think it is a misguided decision to advertise that we are unstable as a campus. We have also been discussing bringing a $600 million facilities bond to a public vote. I believe that it will negatively impact the chances of this vote being successful if we are voting no confidence on the president and the board, who are the fiscal stewards of this college. Although our current administration and board have areas to improve upon, I believe this vote is the wrong way to approach these changes. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Rose. Time 5 minutes. Okay, so again, we're out of time. We need another extension. Is there a motion to extend this by an additional 5 minutes? Jose, I see your hand. Is there a second? Thank you, Bevel Constantine, for the second. If there are no objections, we can approve this by unanimous consent. If you have an objection, please let me know. Okay, are there any objections? Seeing none, we can approve this by unanimous consent. We have our last extension, 5 minutes. I'm sorry, Susan Bauer.
Thank you. I just wanted to share that the 4 representatives from natural sciences have been collecting input from our colleagues. We have some very strong opinions in support of this resolution, and we've got some very strong opinions against it. I do support what my colleague Sheila Rose just stated. In the past, we've had much more support, not just from faculty, but also from students. And I was just going to ask, first of all, state that when it comes to voting for this, we're going to be splitting this according to the input that we've received from our division. Number 2, I just wanted to ask whether there has been any discussion of a poll to individual faculty as we did 9 years ago. I do remember voting as an individual faculty member. Have we discussed doing that this time around? Thank you.
Actually, I'm sorry, I can answer that part of your question. This is a resolution from the Academic Senate. So if it's approved by the Academic Senate, then the vote for no confidence will go out to the entire Academic Senate, which is all faculty, just to be clear. Okay. Josh Fleming.
Actually, you just answered my question, and that kind of negates what I was going to comment on afterwards. So I'll withdraw.
Thank you. Okay, Taryn.
Hi, yes, thank you. I just wanted to point out that athletics in the fall of 2021 ended up going very smoothly. We were the first junior college that required all of our athletes to be vaccinated. And actually, of all of our sports, we didn't have one major outbreak and we didn't have to cancel any of our games. And so we were very satisfied and excited to get back and have a season for all student athletes as well as coaches, with our 2020 season being canceled. So I just wanted to point out, for talking about students, we also need to look out for student athletes and coaches as well, who are really excited to get back on campus and be a part of the activities and to compete. I also wanted to point out that actually KHA does not support this vote of no confidence. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Brian?
One more time, may I share my screen?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. All right, really quick. The second premise is that the data support that it was safe to come back in January. And the nice thing is, despite the documents that are cited in this document, we have the benefit of hindsight. We don't have to look at predictive articles written in January. It's April now. We can look at the fact that we haven't had a major outbreak. We can look at the fact that we came back after the peak, and we can look at the fact that it's been safe to do so. I would point out that this is a screen capture from our meeting a month ago, where the data from the LA Times was posted. And this data is the same data. This is the New York Times / LA Times data. I would point out that on January 13th, we were at the peak. We were beyond the peak on the 25th. We were way beyond the peak on the 7th of February. We were way beyond the peak of March. And I would refer to the meeting of a month and a half ago where the Pasadena data did not pass muster. And so I would go back to that point and say, fine, the LA data shows the exact same thing. It's just the peaks are bigger and the valleys are bigger. It's the exact same data here in Pasadena as it is in LA. And I would also point out that all of this data is for the general population. We are not the general population. I cite a CDC article from November 7th, January 21st to January 8th, 2022. The prevalence of illness and hospitalization for people who are vaccinated, and that's us. I'll let you guys read the data, but the simple point is that hospitalization rates are 23 times higher for the unvaccinated, and that's not us. It's safe to come back because I would quote Dr. Lopez in our last meeting. Student vaccinations are at 98.8%, and faculty and staff vaccinations are at 96.9%. This data is not for us. We are vaccinated and many of us are boosted, and we've been paid to do so. So to wit, I would also point out that it was safe to do so because we've been following the CDC guidelines from day one. There have been complaints about it because admittedly the testing rollout was a little slow, but all things being equal, we've done it right. And I would also point out one last thing. This is the Broad Street pump. This is the beginning of public health as a field of study. You don't need an MD to understand how this works. Dr. John Snow discovered that there's a cholera outbreak because this pump was contaminated.
Brian,
and we have no Broad
friend.
Street pump here. Thank you for your time.
Thank
you.
Thank you, Brian. Dr. Bernardo, you have 1 minute.
Hi, thank you. I just want to rebut a couple of things. Honestly, when I asked for the KHA to send a poll, I got no reply. And that's why we had to send an unofficial poll, because KHA the senator did not bring it up in any of the department meetings at all when this has been going on in the academic senate for 2 months now. KHA did not mention it until last meeting. And so if they sent a poll, I don't have any record of that. And secondly, people are talking about the peak. We're at the peak at January 25th. We didn't know if it was going to keep going down, and we didn't know if it was going to go up again. And so to say that we're not currently having 100,000 cases in every week is disingenuous, because you don't know where the data is going from then. We only know in hindsight, that we were on the downhill slope and that it would continue down. And besides, saying that we are safe is really, really offensive to people who have
Dr. Bernardo. Your time is up. Thank you.
Immune systems.
And I'm sorry, everyone, we are out of extensions. And at this point, we need to entertain a motion. Okay, do I have a motion on this resolution? Oh, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. That's the end of our discussion. Now it's time for our vote. I apologize for that. I'm mixing up my words. Professor Walker, this should be a roll call vote. Professor Walker, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
You have the floor.
Okay. Dr. Jaramillo?
Abstain.
Sheila Rose?
No.
Point of information.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is someone speaking?
Yeah, can you clarify what a no and a yes vote mean in terms of the
Yes.
resolution?
So we are voting to decide if we're going to approve the resolution. This is not a vote. This is not the vote of no confidence. This is the vote to approve the resolution. So yes, a yes is to approve the resolution, a no is to oppose. Is that okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so Armia Walker, no. Dr. Bernardo,
Yes.
thank you. Tracy Bodis,
Yes.
thank you. Bevel Constantine,
Yes.
thank you. Gita Indoor, Gita, I'm sorry, I can't see her. Thank you. Diane Jerome,
No.
okay. Marlon Ayers,
No.
Douglas Cook,
No.
Blanca Hernandez,
Yes.
Talene Seropian,
A majority of counselors voted yes.
okay, thank you.
So does that mean that your vote is yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Lori,
Majority of the counselors voted yes. So my vote is a yes.
thank you. Carmen,
Abstain?
thank you. Tim Malnarek,
Yeah.
that a yes?
Yeah.
Thank you. Vanita Swami,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you. Lindsay Ruiz,
Yes.
thank you. Blanca Rodriguez,
No.
thank you. Terrence Solberg,
No.
thank you. Ken Simon,
Yes.
thank you. Margaret Bowles,
No.
all right. Jose Castanon,
No.
thank you. Lyman Chafee,
No.
thank you. Susan Bauer,
The Natural Science Division is split and we're voting accordingly, so I vote no.
okay, thank you. Valerie Foster,
I have to vote yes to represent the 10% of our faculty who did so.
thank you. Michael Vendrosco,
Abstain.
thank you. Brian Wilbur,
No.
thank you. Joshua Fleming,
Based on the response of a poll from the PCA division, yes.
thank you. Anthony Francoso,
Based on a majority of the social science faculty, my vote will be yes.
thank you. Anna,
Yes.
thank you. Adora,
Yes.
thank you. Sylvia Rigon. Oh, we can't hear you, Sylvia, sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay. Based on a poll of full-time and part-time faculty at VAMS, my answer is yes.
thank you. Give me a moment to tally the votes. Okay, so we have So I just had to count it one more time. We have, hold on one more time. Give me, we have 17 yeses. We have 12 noes. We have 3 abstentions. And the abstentions go with the yeses. So that's 20 yeses and 12 noes. The yeses have it.
Okay, so this resolution is approved by the Academic Senate. We will work with a committee to send this out to all full-time faculty for the vote of no confidence. Okay, so moving on. New business. Title IX proposal. This will be our first read. Dr. Carrie Boland could not make it today, but Megan, you are here, I believe.
Yes,
Megan?
I'm here.
Awesome. Okay, you have the floor.
Thank you, Dr. Lopez, and thank you all for your time this afternoon. Before diving into the policy document itself, I wanted to provide what I hope is some helpful context around these proposed changes. So as many of you know, Title IX is a federal law that bans sex-based discrimination and harassment in all education institutions that receive federal financial assistance. And so the law itself was codified and amended substantially in 2020. Those changes included updates to due process requirements, changes to jurisdiction and terminology, among many other things. A shift at our campus related to Title IX is also its positionality. So Title IX has shifted under institutional equity, diversity, and justice. And the reason for this shift really stems from PCC's commitment to having a work environment, an educational environment that is free from all forms of discrimination and harassment, not just gender-based or sex-based harassment and discrimination. And so by moving our Title IX work underneath this umbrella, we feel that this really allows us to bring DEI to the forefront of policymaking and culture shifting that will hopefully support us moving towards belonging and cultural safety. And so this, the institution really thought it was kind of an intelligent marriage of the two, and such led to the creation of my position, an inaugural role, and that's really meant to be kind of that building block of this foundation of our reimagining of Title IX here at PCC. So my role here at PCC is Title IX Investigator Manager, and primarily I am tasked with ensuring the college's compliance with Title IX as well as relevant state laws as well. And so this includes, of course, efforts to revise our policy to ensure that it's compliant with these changes, as well as amend our practices in accordance with those federal mandates. I also oversee our response efforts to complaints and investigate formal complaints, and oversee our prevention education efforts relative to Title IX. So this policy that we're proposing, who will it impact and how? This policy will serve both students and employees. And it will particularly pertain to employees as well in their role as responsible employees with an obligation to report incidents of sexual harassment to our office. So currently our policy landscape is as such. We have 3 policies that address sexual harassment. There's a sexual and other assault policy, prohibition of harassment, and non-discrimination. And so the model that we're moving towards, and I'll share my screen here, one moment. The model that we're moving towards will synthesize those 3 policies. Can folks see that okay? Okay, great. Well, this model really synthesizes those 3 existing BPs that separately speak to what we've combined in this board policy here. And the attached AP, which was shared, is specifically pertaining to Title IX and the grievance process as required by federal law. And we, in developing this policy, we were informed by model policy that was put forward by the Association for Title IX Administrators, who are seen as really the leading thought experts in Title IX compliance and excellence. And so this AP attached to it is sought to be compliant with those legal requirements. So I'll maybe just scroll through and allow folks to read. And I'll clarify as well that for non-Title IX harassment discrimination cases that will fall under this updated BP, there will be forthcoming refreshed APs, one for employees through HR and another for students through student conduct. So we'll look forward to sharing more about those in a separate space.
Okay, Megan, just so you know, all of the senators received this in their board packet. So you don't have to stay here too long. But there are questions for you though. Bevel, you have a question?
Yes. I attended the Faculty Association of California Community Colleges meeting, and it was brought to our attention that when a faculty member is accused of sexual harassment, and there's the investigation and everything, if the faculty member is found not guilty, the case still stays on their file. Do you know if this is true, or does the policy address this?
Yes, the policy will address that. So we are required by federal law to maintain records for 7 years. So we have to, regardless of the finding, we have to be legally compliant, retain those records. So internally, we will keep those records because we have to. I hope that answers your question.
It seems a bit unfair. Like if someone is not guilty, that it could stay on their record and possibly impact them getting a job. I'm not sure how the other senators feel, but I just think that it's a bit unfair. If you're not guilty, then in my personal opinion, you know, it should not be on your record. I'm not sure how the other senators feel.
Okay, before we go into that, we need to extend this. We've run out of time. Do I have a motion to extend by another 5 minutes? Geeta, I see your hand. Is it Dr. Bernardo? I see your hand as a second. So if there are no objections, we can extend this time by unanimous consent. See no objections, we have an additional 5 minutes. Megan, if you'd like to respond, feel free.
Yes, I'll just say for that, you know, we'll clarify that in our policy, and I'd like to speak to that a little bit further, maybe in our second read.
Okay, Professor Andor.
Is this the document that contains that the conduct occurred on or after August 14th, 2020?
That is correct.
And who in this institution is a mandated reporter, if anyone?
Currently in our policies, those 3 that I mentioned, I believe that it is managers and supervisors that are named as responsible for reporting. However, in January of this year, California state law expanded the requirement for the specific roles at education institutions who are required to report. So in order to be compliant, to comply with those state changes, we'll be updating and expanding the reporting requirement to be consistent with those requirements. So it will expand beyond just managers and supervisors.
How about the date? If somebody told a mandated reporter, a dean, that an incident happened and the dean didn't do anything, and then another dean was told and the dean didn't do anything, and now if there's a third dean, is it really excluded if none of these deans have done their job?
Excluded by the policies?
The date. Suppose the incident happened before this 2020, and then the gentleman, in this case, reported it to the dean did nothing, reported it to the next dean, the dean did nothing. Is this then thrown out because mandated reporters didn't report?
I see. So if an individual comes forward, today regarding something pre these regulations, the institution will still, with a formal complaint, do our best to investigate. So we won't disregard those complaints, if that makes sense.
Okay, Dr. Bernardo, you're next.
Hi, thank you. Just to clarify, because I think you said that you might refine this in the document further, but Professor Constantine was talking about something being on someone's record. And so I'm just trying to figure out exactly what that means in terms of, professionally. Is this something that is sent along with some? So I'm not really sure about that, but I guess you said that you would clarify.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I can clarify that. And when I'm talking about records retention, I'm not speaking to things that go in an employee file, but more our Title IX office internal records like that we're required to keep. But I can again clarify that further in policy as to where those documents are stored, regardless of a finding.
And just to build on what Professor Endor was saying, so for things that happened before August 14th, 2020, is this intended to replace an existing policy, or is this an attempt to make a policy where one didn't really exist?
Good question. I would say it's more so synthesizing existing policies that we have and building upon those. So our 3 existing policies collectively address different areas of Title IX. So we wanted to bring them all together. And then due to the 2020 changes in the law in terms of the process, that's going to be the new piece for the institution.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Anna.
Thanks for coming and talking to us about this. I did have a question about follow-up. So when someone reports a Title IX issue, whether they're a student or a faculty member, and this is kind of based on conversations I've had with students over the years who have had to go through this process. It's really hard and it gets in the way of their academic success in future semesters and stuff like that. So I was curious if there's something in there that could be directly addressed to that, kind of offering support to individuals who go through that process. Because faculty provide support in the way that they do in the classroom or office hours and stuff like that. But if there was a more kind of, I don't know, whatever we want to call it, codified official type thing, that would be, I think, great to talk about or hear about as well.
I appreciate that. Absolutely. And there is a role that supports students and or employees who are involved in the process called an advisor. That's a role that we will be identifying and training at the institution. And those individuals have a role that they play specifically in the hearing process. However, as best practice, we would like to think more broadly about that role and consider the other support needs. So expand that training beyond the minimum requirements to be inclusive of some of the supports you're talking about. So thank you for raising that.
Okay, if there are no other questions, this again is a first read. Megan, we'd like to invite you back maybe at our next meeting to follow up. We only have one more meeting left until we are out of session. So hopefully you can get back by then. Okay, so again, thank you for coming. Okay, I'm not sure is Carol Curtis here or someone here as her representative to talk about AP 3050? Okay, then I would like to entertain a motion to table this item as well. Okay, Gita, I see your hand to table. Is there a second? Okay, Michael Vendrasco, excuse me, is the second. If there are no objections, we can approve tabling this item by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, this item is tabled. Yay. Okay, so we will move on to item J, consent items and hiring committee for Dean of Enrollment. Okay, if I would like to entertain a motion to approve both of these at the same time, do I have a motion? Thank you, Mylan. And do I have a second? I saw you, Ken. I saw you, Ken. Okay, so we have a first and a second. If there are no objections, we can approve these together. Okay, seeing none. Awesome. So these are approved. Okay. Are there any future agenda items? Remember, next week is our last meeting until fall. We're out of session. Yes, Dr. Bernardo.
Yes, again, I would like to ask for official, I guess, department by department feedback on what exactly your departments are thinking or your divisions are thinking about adding adjuncts to hiring committees. We've had a lot of talk about hiring committees and people who, would like to participate, and we never really got any solid feedback on that. So I'm requesting that for next time, please. Thank you.
Okay, I'll see what I will do my best to get that on the agenda. Okay, Dr. Foster.
Yeah, I know this is probably not the item to put on one of the last meetings, but I'd like to get back to talking about students and the liberatory outcomes that we started this semester with. I know that we're getting a new system for SLOs, and we haven't looked at our ISLOs in a really long time. So this seems like a really great opportunity to do that.
Oh, I am already unmiked. I was like, yes, we'd love to get back to that. Absolutely, we can put that on the agenda. It is one of our academic senate goals, and I would like for us to revisit some of our goals to see where we are at for this year. Are there any additional proposed future agenda items? Professor Walker.
Along those lines, I would like to talk more about our goals, specifically to create an anti-racist policy for the campus.
Okay. Duly noted. And Mylan.
Hi, can you repeat exactly what was it, the agenda item that Ms. Foster wanted?
To talk about our liberatory outcomes and how it impacts our students and what we do in the classroom. So just a conversation about liberatory outcomes. That's how we started this year. It would be great to end the year with that as well. Okay. I mean, was that a good synopsis, Dr. Foster? I'm going to take that as a yes. Okay.
Sorry.
So
sorry. I was
that's
trying
okay.
to hit the button.
That's okay. It's fine. Okay. Are there any announcements? Yes, Bevel.
Well, actually, I had one question. In the past, we were told that we would get a breakdown of the faculty who were hired, as well as the breakdown of the hiring committees by ethnicity. Is that information going to be available for us in the near future?
I can talk to Dr. Ramirez and see if we can add that to maybe her instructional report.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Yes. Okay. Are there any other announcements or any announcements, excuse me? Okay, seeing none, for all your hard work, I'm giving you back 15 minutes. Yay. Okay. Don't go on vacation with that. If there's nothing else, I'm willing to entertain a motion to adjourn. Don't all there. Thank you, Mylan. Motion to adjourn. Dr. Stevens, I'm going to take that as a second. Okay. If there are no objections, we can approve adjournment by unanimous consent. Brian Wilbur said 15 minutes and 95 cents. Thank you, Brian. I don't know what we're gonna do with all that. We are adjourned. Thank you all for your hard work. Have a great day. Thank you.
Dr. Lopez.
Who is calling me?
Mylan.
Oh, hi, Mylan. We're recording, so let me see if I can stop us from recording. Boom. stop recording. Yes. Okay, I mean, I think we may still be live though, too. I don't know how about this? How about I meet you, I send you an invitation and I'll meet you in a private chat.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Anyone else?
Yeah, Dr. Lopez, I had one question. Sorry, I'm sorry. You said that now it goes to the faculty, but will the adjunct faculty be voting as well?
From my understanding, it is for all full-time or regular faculty.
And
that is beyond my control level.
You know, when we talk about equity, we want everyone's voices included, you know?
Okay, and at this point, the meeting's adjourned. I don't even know what to say to that. I'm sorry. Gita, I see your hand. You're muted, Gita.
I wanted to talk to you afterwards with a couple of suggestions. They're open to anybody, but.
Okay, then how about this? I will also send you an invite to my own Zoom. Okay. Everyone else have a great day. I will